Hello, I'm Dr. Ahmed Ainain, a British consultant since 2002 and consider my colleagues as an expert in pharmacokinetics since long time. And my main interest is comprising medical care, especially pharmacokinetics. And I will show you how useful this science is, especially in trying to find out the correct dose of a drug. Now we have got a lab result of somebody who isolated coronavirus, which causes COVID-19. The virus is changing a lot in its shape and in its internal structure. Therefore, the pathology is changing from pneumonia to clotting to ripping off the hemoglobin molecule and so forth. Therefore, we have to really be smart in using our drug therapy and not just abandon one thing because somebody collected data which we don't know how it was registered from 6 countries, 6 continents, 70 countries or whatever, and then say a medicine does not work. So let us see the proper scientific work that was done in China, and they have published this work, and you could see here that they have done a lot of work. They have cultured cells in infection concentration of about, which is called the multiples of infection of 0.01, which is 1%, and 2%, 3%, and 8%, 20%, and 80%. And then they have tested against different concentrations of 2 medicines. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, 7, 7, 7, that's 28. And here for toxicity level, another 7, so that's 35, and then we are talking about 35 experiments. Each experiment might have been repeated 3 times at least to find the concentration of the drug which will inhibit virus replication at each multiple of infection or degree of severity of viral invasion. And somebody will come easily and say, let us do randomized controlled trial to see whether the medicine works or not. So why on earth people use the Vera E6 cells for culture? Because it is the closest to what happens in human. It is a cell which has the ACE type 2 receptors which the virus can enter the cell through, and it is very rich in that, which means the virus can penetrate into the cells easily and infect them, and then it will be a true representative of what happens in human beings. Okay, so now we can look at, for example, here that the median effective concentration, or EC50, is 2.7 for chloroquine and 4.5 for hydroxychloroquine, which is twice as much. And you can see here the safety variable, which is called safety index, dividing the cytotoxic 50 toxic by efficacy 50 to get now after that, let us just remember that here we need 0.5 in hydroxychloroquine, and here we need 20% cell infection, we need 17 micromoles of hydroxychloroquine. Now let us move on to the next step. The next step is to try to calculate things like that. We wanted to find out what is the half-life, what is the concentration we wanted, the target concentration we wanted to do, and we know that this drug follows first order kinetics, and therefore it declines like this and it builds up and accumulates like that. Here is the study by Munster and colleagues. When they give 1200 milligrams per day, the concentration have reached very high level at 16, and this will has continued for about 42 days, and hopefully we will not assume that we will need to treat anybody for 42 days. What you could see here, if you change the half-life, say a patient has started enzyme induction after a couple of weeks, and now his half-life is only 11 days. So let us look at here. This is an interactive program to help you to find out what sort of concentration you will get at what level. So like this, I can find out for you, and don't worry, I will not ask you to use this at all. This is just for me. And here you could see that when they use the maintenance dose of 400 to 600 milligrams daily, the level remained at around 4 micromoles. Let us move on to the next part of the program. and here we'll find that this program is made especially to help us to find what happens when we use different doses. So let us say, for example, we are going to use no loading dose, and we are going to use just like that. So we are going to use just maintenance dose of a half a tablet every day. So you could see the concentration is very low. After, if it is once a day, then after 10 doses, what happens after 10 doses? So let us write here 10 doses. That's 10, and then we could read the concentration which will be achieved here after 10 doses of such a dose. Then what if somebody wanted to give people one tablet a day? Let us see what the concentration we will get. This is a concentration we will get. Did we get to a decent level? The highest level here is 12, but after how many doses? Maybe, let us see, is it happening after 100 doses, for example? Then you write here 100, and you see what is the level after 100 doses. The level after 100 doses is 11.7. So then we cannot really just give one dose like that, because it will keep accumulating. And what if we checked after 200 days? Will the level get higher? Yes, it got slightly higher. So we reached the steady state concentration at 12 nearly after 200 days. But if we are going to use it for 28 days, like a month or 4 weeks, then we see the level here is 7.2. So we could find here that yes, we might reach a level of nearly 4 or so after 14 days. So are we really wanting to stay 14 days unprotected until the drug level accumulates slowly like that? Or shall we just behave and add a loading dose? And how much of a loading dose do you think he wanted to give? Somebody might say, oh, we are giving one tablet every day, so let us give 2 tablets at the beginning. Okay, let us see what is 2 tablets. Nothing, did nothing. I suggest 15 tablets, so let us see if we give 15 tablets what happens. That's what you get. That's what you get. So you get into the therapeutic level straight away. You are going to give it over a day, you just write here 24 hours. So within 24 hours, that's the level you will get. You don't need 1 tablet a day, because the level will continue to accumulate. And if you wanted to know what is the concentration after, say, 100 days, I hope that we don't have to use that for 100 days, but the concentration is nearly 12. Do you really need 12, or you need only 5? So if you need only 5, then you could just, what you could just do is just write here half a tablet only. You don't need a full tablet, you just need half a tablet. So let us see what happens. That's half a tablet. That's the effect of half a tablet. And that's why I'm recommending to give 15 tablets at the beginning to reach a level of 6 or so, just under 6, and continue like that for half a dose, half a tablet every day. So if we wanted to check after 28 days or 30 days, just after 1 month, the level will be 5.6, 5.9. So that's what we really need to do. Okay, I hope this will show you how to design and the benefit of mathematical model. Do we really need to do dosing studies? If you wanted to do dosing studies, go ahead please, because you will have to use so many human beings, and each one you will give a different dose. If you try, for example, 4 or 5 different doses, 5 people each time, and these are human beings, remember, and then we don't know where you'll get the funding from, where you'll get the money from, where you get the time from, and are you going to really do so many blood tests in all these people to find out, or you could just follow a mathematical model And then once you have tried all different options, then you choose the option you wanted and be vigilant, give the dose, and check at this level, and check again at this level, and then you could find out what is happening. I have a special program for that as well. I can show you later in another presentation. Okay, let us move on to another step. Now, if you continue the loading dose right from the beginning, and you never try to switch off the loading dose and use a maintenance dose instead, then the level will keep rising like that exponentially. But if you decided that I wanted a level of 5, once you reach the level of 5 based on your calculations, then you could switch to the maintenance dose for that level to keep the level steady, or 10, then you keep it steady at 10, or 13, you keep it steady at 15, and so on. So you could see the difference here. The fluctuation is lower here, moderate here, and the highest here, and that's because the amount excreted in the same period of time, like a week, would be higher if you have a higher drug concentration, and would be lower if you have a lower drug concentration. That's why the fluctuation would be higher or lower depending on the blood level you are dealing with. Let us move on to another step. I think we have mentioned that already, so we'll not try to waste the time in here. Now let us go into the end product of what we are going to use and what I'm going to offer to help getting through this difficult period. Now we assumed that this is the doses and concentration we need. So you write the indication here, like protection, like community helper, like somebody who's exposed but well, somebody who has a low rate of infection, somebody who had a medium infection, somebody who has a high infection, and this person needs 4.5, 5.5, 6.3, 7, 10.2, 13.3, and then once you enter that number here, the program will automatically calculate for you the loading dose and how many tablets. Now, are you prepared to give all these tablets in one day? Of course not. Then we will say that the highest dose we have seen in the literature is 6 tablets a day, 1200 milligram a day, in the study for rheumatoid arthritis I've shown earlier by Monser and his colleagues. Then let us say 6 tablets in a day. So 6 tablets in a day. To reach that level, you need 12 tablets, and that will be achieved in 2.1. You wanted to achieve that level, you need 2.5 days. You need that level, then you need 18 tablets given over nearly 3 days, and so on. The highest level of infection, 13.3 concentration required, then you have to give 40 tablets, and then have you ever seen any of the studies have said that? No. So what they are doing, I don't know. Ask them, and ask the people who are ready to review studies and publish they are good and publish the medicine is bad, while they don't know which doses they are using, or they don't like to mention. Okay, so let us see here. If you wanted to compromise a little bit more because your patient is really strong and you are keen to protect faster, then put 8 tablets instead of 6 tablets, and then you'll find how many days is required to finish your finish your loading dose. And then let us return back again to 6 tablets and move into the next step. The next step is looking at the maintenance dose. Are you giving it every day, or are you going to give it every week? So let us see if we have done every week. Then it is every week, and here you could see that's 2.3 tablets in the first level, in the highest level 7 tablets in a week, which means 1 tablet in a day. In that condition, then you could say every day, then you have 1 tablet, and here half a tablet. Okay, so let us return back again to 7 days. You could choose which day you wanted. It's up to you to plan the medicine the way you wanted to plan it. And here, if you choose every 4 days, for example, if it is easy for you to advise every 4 days or every 3 days, and you see how many number of tablets are needed. And let us return back to the default, which is 7 days, like weekly dosing. Okay. So now, why you afford the weekly dosing? Because the dose is so tiny and the half-life of the drug is so long. Then you could afford to giving the doses every week or twice a week or 3 times a week. And if you wanted to give every day, then it would be very little, just a half a tablet or something like that. Okay, let's move on. Now, what's my protection level? If we discuss, I'm assuming that these cell studies are correct as far as we know, then we will use that as a protective level. The lowest protective level we found that it can inhibit viral replication was 4 or 4.5. Then you put that number here, and then if you achieve 4, the last dose, after the last dose, you will stay protected for about 4 days, and then the level goes below 4. If you think that the protective level after doing 100 patients and assessing the levels and assessing the drug levels and assessing the viral replication rates, and then you found it is only 3, then when you use this dose, then you will find that the patient will be protected for 13 days after the last dose. But what if you find it actually 5? Look at this. It will tell you, oh my God, even when you are on the dose, you are not protected. If it is 10, let us see if it is 10. If it is 10, so now you are not protected at all. You are not protected at all. So, of course, that's very logical. But here, let us look here. If you have given this medium dose, or the high dose for infection, then you will be protected. Anything before that is not protected. So let us go back to the default of 4, assuming that the cell research is okay. Can we answer the question, the cell research is okay, or shall we go for studies? Think about it, and I will tell you. I have the answer for you. From where the answer? Okay, the French team have done some work. Can we use their work to answer this question? Of course we can. It's a human experiment. We cannot just discard the human experiment because it's not done the way we wanted it to be done. We have to benefit from whatever information we have got there. So look at this bottom graph. Now, when they have given this hydroxychloroquine alone, you could see that the number of people who turned negative to the virus kept declining, and after the 5th day, on the 7th day, just below the median level of 50% virus clearance. So we are talking about 6 or 7 days, somewhere between 6 and 7 days. If it took some 6 or 7 days, and the dose given at that in this study was actually 3 tablets every day, 1 tablet 3 times a day for 6 or 7 days. Let us say 6 days. So then we are talking about 18 tablets. 18 tablets. What blood concentration would be given by 18 tablets? Then you could see here. Let us return back to MIQDAD, the numerical thing. 18 tablets is here. Yes, we found 18 tablets is here. And then actually you'll find the level was 6.3. But if you accumulate 18 tablets in 6 days, it means you are going to lose this number of tablets every week. Therefore, it will not be actually 18. It would be as if you have given only 15, because this 3 out of the 18 was excreted during this week, then the level would be 5.5. Therefore, if we can imagine that the level from the French team is 5.5, that is very close to the cell culture result, then it is actually applicable to human. So I would believe both studies. I would believe the French study as well as believe the cell culture study. So can you see the benefit now of mathematical modeling and the computerizing medical care? I cannot convert enough people. Okay, I hope like this you have seen. Oh, before we finish, this last column, I haven't told you about this last column. What does it mean? This is the ratio between the loading dose and maintenance dose, and here the average of all the ratios, all the different ratios here. So if I divide this number, which is the loading dose, how many tablets used for loading to reach the concentration we need, and here the how many tablets needed to top up the level in a week, then that's the ratio of loading to maintenance dose, but that's a weekly ratio. If you give this dose whatever number of days, but this is in a week, then we are talking about an average of 5.4 up to 6, so the overall average is about 6 times. So this dose is 6 times bigger than this dose. But if you wanted to think about you are giving the maintenance dose daily, then the difference is 1 to the loading dose is bigger 36 times, which means I can look at a study and see what is the ratio between their loading dose and maintenance doses. If they are giving the maintenance doses daily and this is not the ratio of 36, then I know straight away that they haven't done the math correctly. Okay, so like this you could criticize and you could appraise studies quickly and you could advise properly. At the bottom here, don't forget that these doses are based on somebody who is 60 kilograms, but if you are much heavier or much lighter, then this is a dose calculated per kilogram. And in the appropriate time, I might just convert this table into this program into including the weight of the child, of the person as well. Then you put the weight and you get the number for that person. But this is just the standard for somebody who's 60 kilograms. I hope you found this discussion beneficial, and I appreciate your comments and your subscription to the channel, so that in the newer videos I'm going to give you more and more videos like this to show how useful it is to computerize medical care, and I hope that we help each other to get rid of this pandemic. Thank you very much for your listening, and sorry for too much time and numbers. Thank you. Bye bye.